Kevin.
Hi, how are you?
Call the meeting to order at 6:33. Okay, first thing on the agenda is chair's announcements. I have no announcements other than what we're going to cover in the meeting. Citizens open forum. Do we have any citizens on here that would like to comment? And we have the church folks. I'm not sure. Kevin, we have a Kevin Griffin. Are you with the church or are you just, I shouldn't say just, you are a public listening to our meeting?
Looks like he's still connecting to the audio, so he might not be able to speak.
Okay, I'm not sure who Kevin Griffin is, but okay, we'll move on. Approval of minutes of 5/26 that Josh sent out the other day.
Is there an awful lot of static?
That's what I was just gonna ask. I'm getting an awful lot of static here.
Yeah, it was coming from Kevin, so I muted him. Kevin,
Oh.
I'm not sure if you're trying to get set up.
Okay,
Yeah, I just need to fix the mic. Sorry about that. So that's all me.
okay. Approval of minutes from 5/26, May 26th.
Motion to approve, Harry.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, roll call, Josh,
Gina,
yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Harry,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay, great, thank you. Next thing, review the financial reports for dated May 31st that I had sent out. The question last month had been on. Okay, yeah, the question last month had been on the page, it's the page that has two on it, the CPC reporting expense budget to actual. The question was asked what the administrative expense other is. What that is when we set the budget, estimated
Gina?
budget. What?
Gina, sorry to interrupt, but we
Okay.
lost Kevin,
Okay,
so we lost a quorum here.
okay. Okay, hopefully he comes back on.
I can email Steve in the meantime.
Okay, that's good.
Gina, just so I'm clear, are you talking about the balance sheet or the expense to revenue sheet?
Expense budget to actual.
Okay.
It's the one that has like part-time wages.
Oh, I see.
administrative-
It's the second table on that one page. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll hold for quorum.
Okay. Did Steve mention the meeting tonight, Carlton?
No, we didn't mention it, but
Okay,
he may be on a train somewhere.
yeah.
There you go.
back.
We got Kevin back. Okay,
Oh, sorry about that. My phone was kind of acting wacky. Sorry about that.
no,
Another Kevin.
no problem at all. Okay, we're just looking at the financial statements, Kevin. The sheet that says expense budget to actual, this stats part-time wages, administrative expenses. The question had been asked last month, what the one 570000 administrative expenses other is, what that is when we put together our budget and we have to put like at least 5% into administrative. What the town does is based on past expenses, they break it down into part-time wages, administrative expenses, which would be like Jen Golson's contract, and the remainder just goes into our and dues, and the remainder just goes into a general other pot. So those four put together are what we put into the administrative bucket, if that makes sense.
That's very helpful. That there's four accounts within that 5% budget. That's great. Thanks.
Correct.
Josh, are you still going to be billing out on the administrative expenses, part-time wages, or are you going to be?
Nope. No, I won't be part of that.
So
Okay.
that's so you bill out to the committees, or do you now bill out to the town general fund?
I think it's just going to be through and you might need to clarify, but I'm almost 100% positive it's through the town general.
Okay, that would be help. I wish we had a liaison from the town offices that we could do that. But could you just take an action to clarify exactly how that impacts us? I'm happy for you. I just want to know how it impacts our budget.
Yep, I'll get that answer for you.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
just to see if they're charging back to the individual departments, or if it's just part of your general job duties. Okay. Sounds good. Any other questions, or any questions on the budget sheets? Looks like we're still in good shape. And hopefully, or it should be, funds coming in from the state should be a lot higher. Do all of you subscribe to the coalition newsletter?
Yes.
If you don't, I suggest you do. There's a lot of good information that comes out with that. One of the things in this month that they sent out was projected revenue, and it's like way higher than I think what we even anticipated, which is way higher than what the town anticipated. So hopefully it all comes through.
And remember that we have a mid-year review in November because of that issue.
Correct. Right, to move it. Okay. Any questions or comments on the financials? Okay. Next is old business. The Central Square Congregational Church deed restriction and grant. It's grant agreement. Just an update. I'm going to let Barbara give the actual update on what she has, and then I'll just say where we stand on the grant agreement itself. Barbara?
Okay. I sent a copy of the remarks from CPC to each of my committee members and to the moderator of the church and to the trustees. I also sent them a copy of the paperwork that Brian Pfeiffer drew up a couple of months ago, just in case they lost it in their email, so that they could review all of the papers in its entirety before I sent them back to Brian Pfeiffer. There was only one change that was made by the moderator. She's in the paperwork. She read that it was referred to as the church president, and that person is really titled the church moderator. So that's the only change that will be made on the church's part. I was hoping to get an answer back by Friday for everyone before I send it to Brian Pfeiffer. Brian has invoiced us at the second invoice for $2,937.50. Now, it was agreed not to go over $6,500. So he left himself a balance of over $1,000 for when he forwards it to the Massachusetts Historical Commission in case they have any changes to make in it that he'll be able to bill himself for more hours and try not to go over that $6,500 budget. So as soon as, if I don't hear back from my committee members, I'm going to contact them myself, each of them, because I want to get this off to Brian within the next few days. At least by the weekend, get it to him and talk to him again by email to see what our next steps are. So I
Mhm.
think we'll just be waiting to hear back from the Mass Historical Commission. I
Great.
did ask him how much it costs to record the deed.
Mhm.
And he said that is between $100 and $200.
Okay, good. That's not bad.
Fair
Good.
enough.
Thank you. That's for the deed restriction for the grant agreement. We have a draft based on what Jen Golson, some drafts that she had given us, and Calvin and I have been working on it. We sent it to the town manager to be reviewed by him and the town attorney, which they did. They sent back with just a couple comments, which are fine. Basically, the whole thing was fine. We just have something we want to follow up with the town manager on, was basically who oversees the project. In the past, it was CPC that oversaw projects, and I believe that's what's in our policies and procedures. But the town manager commented on the draft that we had sent him to review, that, and he's commented in the past for this too, that the overseer of the project should actually be a town employee, and CPC members are not town employees. So we just want to clarify that with him. Once we do, the grant agreement should be set to be written. And once we get the deed restriction back, once the deed is filed, we'll just insert the new dates, because right now it's like blank dates. So we'll insert the dates and get that going. So it sounds like we're well on the way. Okay, any questions by anybody on the deed restriction or grant agreement?
I do. I have a question. At what point do we see the grant agreement? Do the church members see the grant agreement that you're drawing up? Would that be at the very end?
Yeah, we can send you a copy of it once we
We're-
have that.
We'll send it to you when we get certification that you've got the deed restriction
Mhm.
under control.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, that comes
If
first.
you want to see just a
A draft.
draft of it, but it doesn't have dates, actual dates and
Yeah.
signatures, I can send that to you.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it. Is that okay? Could we see
Yeah.
a draft?
Mhm.
Okay,
I don't see why not.
yeah,
Just
okay,
make sure,
thank you.
make sure you put the watermark draft into it.
Mhm.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay. Okay, anything else on the church? You guys
No,
have been on our agenda for so many months, even when this is set. You're still gonna be on our agenda. You can come back and visit us.
Well, I just had this one question. I got to thinking, I've already been coming to your meetings for 2 years. If this project takes another 2 to 3 years, do I have to continue to come to all the CPC meetings for 3 years?
Yeah, we like having you, and we got Gordon here. We like having him too.
My personal opinion is once we get those documents in place, that we can be, according to the grant agreement, you can be communicating to us by email, that kind of thing, as to progress. But I
Right.
don't see you sitting in on all of our meetings
Oh.
until we get all these two documents in, after we get these two documents. in
Okay,
place,
well,
Unless you wish to.
okay. My intentions are, I know when your meetings are monthly, that I would give you an update on what's happening.
Mhm.
And that's what I would like to do by email. And then if you feel I should attend, then you could let me know, Gina.
Okay, okay,
Right.
sounds good.
One of the elements of the grant agreement is communications and reporting, and it's it
Yes,
can be monthly, it can be quarterly, however, we finalize on it. And it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be in person at that point.
okay.
Right.
And just going off memory, I believe when I was talking to Mr. Dutton, I think he did want to switch it from a town employee to verify all the projects to follow through with it. I think that's going to be a town employee.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I
dispute,
think so
I'm gonna
too.
dispute that with him because he didn't say that he said that he's worried about insurance is what he said. And I think we are town officials. We carry the weight as town officers.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
yeah, I just want to have that clarified definitively, so we're all on the same page. Us and in his office and whoever else. Um,
We'll
But
have Josh, we'll have Josh do it since he's doing all this work for us.
That's true, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, next is the application. We've been working on that. Carlton and I have been working on it. Jen, well, actually Anna Callahan, before she left, J.M. Colson had been working on it. I don't think we touched much on it with Jen, but we've been revising it, reviewing it. Didn't have it ready to go out to you folks this month. So we'll get it out sometime in the next month prior to the next meeting for everybody to review. We just want to make sure that we have a pretty good document, you know, the way we want the content in it, the way the whole bit formatted to the best in the content, the best that we can do before we send it out to you folks to review. So we'll get out before the next meeting. If you can review it, it's a longer document. So review it. And if you have any questions or comments, we all set for the July meeting. Got to stop and think what month we were for the July meeting. So that's where that stands. And Josh, that's what we're going to have you put into a writable PDF.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. Okay. Next is eligibility form, which we sent you out. It's almost like a pre-application. I had sent it out. I don't know if anybody tried to print it out. It looks beautiful on the screen, but when I printed it out, but it might just be the way my printer printed it. We had nice little boxes that you check off and everything, but none of that printed for me.
That's-
So hopefully if you
Gina,
can print
that's your
it.
computer because when I print it, the boxes show up.
Okay, that's what I thought. It might be true because I printed it off of my iPad versus the computer, the laptop. So that might be true. But usually I have no problem printing from the iPad. But
There's a lot of formatting in it.
yeah,
Did anybody,
Okay.
everybody have a chance to review it? Because we'd like to vote on it tonight.
Yeah, I took a look at it.
I took a look at it.
what
Yeah,
you think,
I'm looking at
Jane?
it right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of short and sweet that it's we put the chat in so that the people can see if they're looking for an application, whether it's acquiring, creating, preserving, in which category. And if it doesn't fit into where it belongs, then chances are it's not eligible. And the rest is just,
Does anybody want to see it on screen, or because I think we could ask Josh or I can be co-host and show it.
Yeah, I can make you co-host real quick.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Should be all set, Carlton.
Thank you. Oh, you're sharing with me?
yep.
You're co-hosting me. Okay. Then let me go find it.
If it's easier, I can just try to bring up my email here.
If you have it, because if it was sent to you, you can do it quicker than I can.
Yep, give me just a moment here.
It looked like my project ideas might fit in the categories, Gina.
I think they will. I think they will.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole chart with all the boxes, was that a copy and paste right from the preservation or the CPC site?
It was something that Jen Golson or Anna, I think it was Anna, had put
Mm.
together for us.
Yeah, that's the state's format. That's the state's form.
That's the state's format.
That's
right?
what's on the state and what's been provided by the coalition.
Yep.
And so if you want to take just a, I think some of us are on timelines tonight, but if you want to take a look at it, what we tried to do there is basically, if you could scroll down a little bit more, which put in the project name, who they are, organization, whether you're town, public, nonprofit, or private entity. And then this is where the writable comes in. We'd expect some level of a project description. And we also want to make sure that everybody understands that each project has to show some demonstration of a public benefit. Since the church has got a deed restriction, there's requirements there. And they've been doing a lot with the public outreach that they do, that kind of thing. So the public benefit is clearly in their document. Can you scroll down again? And we've added two things. There's an estimate of the cost of the project. It's not firm. It's just, is it 10,000? Is it 50,000? Is it 2 million? Whatever. And then basically the contact people, telephone. And then below the line there is CPC only. And what our intention here, I think, is that we would concur with that it's one or all or whatever combination of those areas. And I see the community housing recreation for some reason it's wrapping, and I had fixed that, and I don't know why it's doing that
Yep,
now.
and I put it into,
Yeah, and the boxes
Josh.
aren't showing up. The boxes aren't showing up on that.
yeah,
Oh,
Josh,
And
this,
then the
bless
other part of that is basically
Mm.
the purpose is creation. So we're trying to say and agree, and then basically the chair would sign it off as to whether it's eligible, potentially eligible, not eligible, or not enough information is needed. So that's basically the crux of it in terms of, and the formatting we can deal with.
Mhm. Does anybody have any questions or comments or changes, modifications?
What did we miss especially?
Mhm.
Right. Okay, CPC people, don't everybody jump on at once.
Take your time.
Yep,
It looks really good, but then there's a part of me that realizes there's probably something missing with this. I don't know.
what's missing?
I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. It looks good. I think it looks really good.
Okay. Okay, any other comments, Jean, Harry?
No, it looks good to me.
Okay, Jean?
Fine for me.
And
Okay.
we want to say on the form to submit this pre-authorization no later than the third Wednesday of the month.
Yep, we have that at the top.
Yeah, that's important, right? Because then we get it for the next.
Right, so that's why we said
meeting.
by the third Wednesday, so that we can review it at our regularly scheduled meeting on the fourth Wednesday.
And the reason we're putting that in there is because in the draft final policy and procedures document, we do call out that anything that's going to come before us has to be in at least a week early. Or we may not be able to take it up. And if it comes in after that, within that week before a meeting, then we probably defer it to the next meeting. We just need to manage our meeting times and et cetera.
Of course,
Right.
yeah, it's a lot more efficient that way, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we need an actual roll call vote on this, if everybody thinks it's okay.
I move to approve it.
Second, Harry.
Okay,
Yeah, we should vote on it just to make sure it's good.
okay, Josh, roll call,
Gina,
yes.
Carlton,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Okay,
you.
great. Josh, I sent you the Word document for it. Can you take that and just line it up so it's not wrapping? And if you can put the boxes back in, that,
Josh, I can send you one that has the boxes also if that doesn't work.
okay,
Try it with
well, that's
Gina
what,
first.
that's what I sent him. That was like that. So
Well-
if you can take, Josh, if you can take what I sent you,
Mhm.
and if you have a problem, then we'll send you something else. I'm just thinking instead of just sending so many documents that he got it, and it could just be how it was showing up.
If it shows up on the screen with the boxes, it'll be fine in the PDF. If it doesn't show up with the boxes, then there's a problem and the computers are not compatible with mine.
Okay, but Josh, if you
Anything
can
else you
just,
want added?
no, just that way, and so it's not wrapping. And I think everything else looked the same. There must be a word wrap in there somewhere for it's probably set up when it was originally formatted to have word wrap because the text paragraphs are wrapping. So it's probably wrapping everything through the whole document, and the word wrap should be taken off when it gets down to those lines.
Okay.
Okay, that's what it looks like to me if it's wrapping.
Yeah, the one thing I do know, I know that anything with like if you print from a phone or an iPad, I know that the format's really funky. It's better to print from an actual computer.
Right, because when I
Um,
had printed it the first time, I printed it through my laptop. Then this afternoon, I thought, oh, let me print it out quick so I have it in front of me. And because it was the iPad, it just messed it up.
Yeah.
But, okay, good point too, though. I have to remember that. Okay, sounds good. Next thing is the CPC consultant. Michael Dunn has reached out to Middleborough and West Bridgewater to see if they'd be interested. Those are two towns that Jen Golson had also consulted for. He had reached out to Middleborough and West Bridgewater to see if they'd like to do a group or in conjunction, the three towns in conjunction with each other. He said they didn't seem interested in it. Jen is still consulting for West Bridgewater, but I know she was giving up that contract, so chances are that contract just hasn't expired yet. And our contract in Middleborough already expired. The chair of the Middleborough committee posted something. There's a regional CPC site, Facebook page that I think hadn't been used in years. I forgot all about it. He posted on that they were looking for a consultant. So I just commented that we were too, so we can hopefully work together if we get one. In the meantime, I think we're doing pretty good, and we'll do even better with Josh. Josh on more time.
Happy to have you,
So-
Josh.
Yep.
Just wanna let you
Me
know.
too. Me too. Okay, so that's where we stand with the CPC consultant. And Michael Dutton mentioned in an email today that he wants to talk to us too soon about how in regards to this whole thing, and the process, the admin needs of the CPC.
Mm.
So we got that. Okay, anything else on consultant? Anything to add? Okay, next is the joint meeting with the Open Space Committee. I see that Eileen's here. Eileen, do you have any update for that?
No, I really don't. I mean, I think, I'm trying to remember the sequence. I think that was on the last agenda. And as I recall, I thought I don't know if that was just when I talked about it then or whether it was a phone conversation I had later with Carlton, but I didn't think it was a good time for us to do this. We were setting up joint meetings with other committees. Summer is kind of busy.
Mhm.
We're also, I don't know about anyone else, but I've been spending a fair amount of time looking at the master plan to provide some comments on that. if possible, if I can get through it. And I think you sort of know what we're doing right now, you know, I mean, I'd be happy to
Right.
give you an update, but I mean, I think Hanson Farm, I mentioned to Carlton the other day, I saw him at the Juneteenth celebration, that I wanted to submit an eligibility form, like as soon as I get Hanson's approval to do that, just to sort of take a first step. And I've talked with Scott McFarland at Wildlands Trust a couple times, and that was one of the things he suggested too, is that we just take that as a first step. The Hansons don't seem to want to be moving too quickly on this. They're terribly busy, as I think I reported that last time. But we want to do what we can. So that, anyway, that would be one of the things that we were most likely to come to you for first. And so I don't know that there's any reason, I think, to go through your strategic plan or whatever your planning what do you call your planning document, and see what the open space projects that you have listed on there are, because we're focused on other things right at the moment. I don't know how much they jive with your, is it a 5-year plan that you had? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I mean, all of those items generally came out of the open space and recreation plan and other planning documents. And of course, we're looking at all of those. But I don't think there's a whole lot more we can take on at the moment.
Okay, sounds good. And like you said, and Janet Hansen had mentioned last month and the month before, it's just such a super busy time for the Hansons.
Yeah.
No matter what time you go by, somebody, David, or mostly David, is on the tractor, or Bob's out doing something. So it is a super busy time.
Yeah, I did manage to find David today. I found him Sunday too. I forget what I was asking him then. I was actually looking for lettuce, but I had a question about their. Anyway, I just asked if there was anything new we needed to know. Were they moving ahead? And he said no. Basically, nothing had happened. And then today I went to ask him, because there was a mention of the Hanson Farm in the introductory section of the master plan that I thought was not accurate. It doesn't describe their business as a year-round operation, and I don't think it gives very much recognition of what a valuable asset and destination and part of this community that it is. So I'm trying to augment that a little bit. I'm not sure that falls into the comments related to errors and omissions. That seems to be what the consultant is looking for, but I'm going to call it an omission and a correction in terms of their hours. And anyway, my point is I went to Hanson Farms to confirm that I thought their hours were such and such, and the months they are open are such and such. And that's what I talked to David about today, but anyway. So.
Okay, good.
That's
On
great.
the coalition, the CPA coalition for the state sends out a newsletter. And this month they did have an article on, and I can't remember the town, maybe Carlton or one of the other CPC members that read it might remember the town, that CPC funds were used for agricultural land. I can pull the article and send it to you. It might be helpful.
Yeah, I would love to get on that. If you could circulate that, if you yeah, if you could send it to me, and I don't know, Kevin, you must already get it, do you, or?
I think I do. I think I do,
okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can go to the coalition's website and just request it.
Just to get on their mailing list.
We'll get it to you.
Okay.
Just to clarify, we're going to kind of hold on the Hanson thing until, excuse me, until the fall, probably September, October timeframe. Is that what we're agreeing to here?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's whenever they get. I told them, you know, I'm at their service, so when they want to move, they just need to let us know. I know Scott McFarland is very busy right now too, so I think he was happy to push this off a bit. But I think it's just a matter of getting everybody at the same point where they're ready to move ahead, and I'd like to just keep pushing that to as soon as we can. But yeah, obviously it's not up to me. So.
That's fine. I just wanted to make sure it was clear in my head and in the minutes. And then the other thing is, I don't know if you were online, but we just voted to a final form for the eligibility
Yes, I was on for that, yeah.
And so as soon as Josh gets that out and Gene and I do a quick QA on it, we'll get that to you so you can, it'll be editable PDF.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, and then I'll check with the Hansons about, make sure they're okay with our filing that. And
Right. They should probably help, they should probably be a co-signer on that regardless, so,
Okay.
as the owners.
Mhm.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Anything else from anyone on the
Oh, just,
Hanson?
not on Hanson, but Eileen, I saw, as I was looking for some information about keeping of horses on property in town, which I didn't find, I came across a 2009 document on open space, what their plans were. I don't know if it was a 5-year or whatever, which I just thought was interesting.
Is that Bridgewater's?
It was Bridgewater. It's a 2009. I
Yeah,
think
I
it
know
was,
That was updated in 2017.
yeah, but it would, I went back that far.
Yeah, it's interesting to read what it was like the past one to see if what was accomplished or what wasn't,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
I
is
don't
good.
think I mean, I know that I know there's this one person that has like 2 horses right on Main Street there. He has horses, but I don't think
yeah,
anyone.
no, sometimes he has had up to 5. They're in my backyard.
Yes, I remember that. That's right.
Yeah, you see 2 right on the street, but there are 3 more in back.
On Main Street or on South
South
Street?
Street.
South Street. Yeah.
And there's one on Sumner Street too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
But horses fall underneath the ag, what
Yeah.
do you call it? Agricultural, not commission, but we're the right to farm community, and I think that all falls within that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I contacted Lori Tunowitz-Gavin, who's on the Ag Commission, just today, and she and I are going to get together to talk about what the Ag Commission has done or what their policies are or what they're trying to do. Her initial response is, yeah, well, of course they're interested in preserving farmland, but they've never had the funds or seen an avenue to do it. So anyway, I'm hoping that they can lend some light or history on what they know about farmland in town.
I imagine those people that have the horses, they've been grandfathered in, so to speak.
Yes, that was a farm. Yeah, years ago, it was in from the 1850s. It was a farm, and
right.
The one near you, Eileen,
yeah,
isn't, that was never a farm. That was always a nice yard.
no, it was a farm at some point. There was a barn there, and so that's what he's been able to reconstruct of some sort of a barn for the horses because he was grandfathered. As far as I
Oh,
know.
okay,
Huh.
okay.
Good to
Because we
know.
knew the people, they were friends of my father's. My father worked with the husband. They
Yeah, well,
never
it was
used
just
it like
grass.
that, but it might have been before them too. They might
Yeah,
have
it was
just not
grass
used
when
it.
we moved here 20 years ago, grass and then wooded area in the back, and now it's nothing but dirt.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm on a hard stop at 7:30, so, and it's almost 4.
Okay, we'll be done. We're almost done. Everything else is short. If there's nothing else on the open space or Hanson's, we'll move on. Award letter for the pickleball courts. The town manager said that one hadn't been done, but he will do one if we want. So we're going to forward him over a draft of it. Carlton has reviewed it. And again, this is one of the templates that Jen Golson had given us that they would use. Carlton's looked at it. I'm going to finish reviewing it this weekend. We'll put it together and send it to the town just for our records to show that there is a grant agreement for it. Just to follow through with our whole process, our paper trail. So that's where that stands. Any other old business? I actually have one quick thing for old business. I also asked the town manager about a grant agreement with the school, for McElwain School, because the purchase and sale was signed recently. And he said, um, I'll tell you what he said because I can't remember exactly. It was, darn, he called it a non-repayment loan.
Yeah, basically, it's free money to them. They don't have to pay the loan back.
Yeah.
But they still need to have a grant, in my opinion, they still need to have a grant agreement because it's town money that's being loaned to them without expectation of repayment.
Right.
And we need to monitor the town, and we need to monitor, and I don't think it's a big deal there because a lot of it's housing money. The historical money that's in there, I believe, is fairly minor. You know, we just have to monitor what they're doing there. They've got the permits, but from the ministerial perspective, I'm very adamant that we have these kinds of things in place.
What the town manager, what
In
he
30
wrote
years,
was,
in my humble opinion, they're gonna say, what were they thinking?
yep, yep. The town manager wrote the McElwain deal closed a couple of weeks ago, and the deal was structured as a non-repayable loan, mortgage, and AHR. He'll get us the copies of the documents as soon as he receives them back from the closing, the escrow attorney. So that's what he had written on that.
So those are the legal documents that transfer the funds and the property, et
Right.
cetera. But
Right.
it doesn't address what our needs are.
Right. Okay.
And how much was that sum for that non-repayable?
1.3 million.
1.3 million. Okay.
Okay,
That's a
the
good
other
start.
old business, he also updated us on the memorial building, and the construction. It'll be going out to bid soon for the construction, the renovation construction. And he's gonna keep us posted on where that stands as
Did
it
he say
moves
anything
along.
about when he's going to come back to the CPC for more money? Because that's one thing he said publicly, that he's going to come back to us.
I remember
Right, he
said,
didn't mention that, but in this email, but he has in the past said that they'll be coming back to us more than likely for more money. I don't know how much, but that's what he's mentioned in the past.
So how are we gonna follow through with that to make sure that they're spending it appropriately with the, I mean, I don't know why they just don't call it a grant if it's not.
No, it's different. Municipalities get an award letter. Grants are given to external non-municipal organizations.
Okay, Kevin, are
And
you
the
talking
content's
McElwain
different.
School or the memorial building?
think-
McElwain School.
Okay,
McElwain's a grant. But
Right.
it's a grant agreement, but the grant agreement will say a non-refundable loan. It won't change any of the legal deals. It's just going to say we need to have reports from them as to the elements where the loan is being used for.
In accordance with the agreement of the money being
Right,
transferred.
right,
right. There's 3 buckets that money's coming from the town. We just need reports on those.
right.
Okay, got it. Thank you for clarification. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Any other old business? Okay, committee liaison reports. I'll start with Parks and Rec. The pickleball courts, the striping had gone out to bid, and we had hoped that it would be striped last week or this week. I talked to Charlie today, and it hasn't been striped yet. He talked to the striper, I guess the person that's going to stripe it, or the company. They said they haven't forgotten us and that we're on their list and it should be done soon.
He told me on Saturday or so, I saw him laying concrete down by the library. And he said he hoped to have it ready to be used by August or no later than September.
Right. Right. Okay, welcome, Bill.
You're muted, Bill.
Okay, good. Um, okay, next.
Bill, you're muted.
Bill, I think, yeah,
You're
you're
muted.
Okay, any other committee reports?
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yep.
Yep.
The Historic District Commission met with with Tape Architects last week to look at the final proposal for the restoration of the Memorial Hall, Memorial Library, and we approved the plan as submitted by Tape Architects. They made quite a few changes based on the meeting that we had in October. And in the meantime, they had received the go-ahead from Mass Historic Commission, who had approved of the renovations of the inside, and also they had approved the handicapped access ramp. We got a waiver on the width of the door. So the doors, we'll be using the original doors, and we insisted that the original windows be used, that they not replace them. And that was one of the major conditions that we on the Historic District Commission insisted on. So I think they'll be starting on the restoration of the building in the summer sometime. So it's going to start soon.
Excellent.
good.
Yep.
Good, thank you. Harry, do you have anything for Concom?
Comcom's slow. We're gonna have a meeting tomorrow night and it should last about 10 minutes.
Okay, not like ours, huh?
You
No.
hope.
No, we only have
Okay.
2 things on the agenda.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's see, who else do we have? Carlton, anything for,
No, but I do have a new business element.
okay, we're getting to it. Kevin, anything to add to what Eileen was saying for
No.
open space?
No, not at the moment. No,
Okay,
we've been doing joint meetings like she mentioned earlier, and we've been just following up with different projects around town, of course. But I think our next meeting, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but I think we're meeting in about 2.5 weeks from now again,
okay,
I believe.
Yeah, I think it's, can you hear me? I may be muted.
yep, okay,
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's July. Well, sorry, I can't find my phone. But yeah, it's early July. I think it's the 3rd.
Yeah, July.
Okay.
That
5th or
can't be
something.
right. That's a Sunday, but anyway.
okay, sounds good. Moving along, because Carlton needs to leave, but he also has something to bring up. So I'm not trying to cut anybody off. If anybody has more to add, just throw something at me. Okay, Jean, anything for?
We have
planning board?
an extra meeting next week. In the planning board for the zoning bylaws.
Oh, okay,
With the council members thing.
okay, good.
Only
Another
300.
300-page
pages to read.
document to read.
What?
Another 300-page document to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jean, you read it and tell me what it says while we're walking. In a nutshell, tell me what it is. Okay, anything else? I think that's all of us for committee reports. Okay, new business. Carlton, you want to take it out of order? You can tell us what you have.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that. Got notified today that the west wall of the old storage house in the Ironworks Park has fallen.
Oh,
It probably, I don't know what it was, but fortunately it didn't happen during Juneteenth. I took pictures and I sent some of them to Steve Rogan for the Historical Commission's notes, and he went down himself and sent back another set of images. So from a restorations perspective, That's an unfortunate piece. But the good news out of this is that a number of people at the Juneteenth celebration had never seen that building. And several of them who just first saw it said, wouldn't that be a great place to build a venue for having trail shows or whatever? So I think there's probably a lot more sensitivity towards the building. And I don't think the loss of that peaked roof area, the straight walls, the building walls are all fairly thick and look fairly secure. The remaining roof peaked area has a brick chimney that actually is got steel plated into the rocks and stone that are up there. So I suspect that that chimney's helping that end stay up. But if one opens their thinking and envisions that building being the elements that can be restored, but also properly roofed, etc., then we could have a fantastic venue for indoor programs, that kind of thing. So that's a concept that I'm just putting into the record right now. There are people that have some interest in doing that. We'll see how they do. But the unfortunate thing is that we now have lost an element of that building forever.
Oh, it kind of stinks. I was just looking at the building the other day and thinking I really wish we could shore it up, but I guess
there's still some partial hopes, but again, community preservation money could potentially be used for a variety of things, but we'll wait and see. And I don't know who the driving force would become on that. It could be a number of committees. Anyway, that I don't want to keep us too long, but that's the good, the bad, and the not so good news.
Okay, I know Harry had worked a lot on it before, so maybe he can provide input for it too. Harry, I'm volunteering you. Okay. Next thing, backing up, is the Zoom meetings going forward. The governor has said that Zoom meetings can continue, I think, until next year. Some town committees I noticed are doing both. It's a Zoom and in person. Jean said the planning board met in person. Sorry about that. The planning board met in person last week, I think. So going forward, my opinion is if we could continue with the strictly Zoom for the summer, then in September, if we want to start the meet in person, that would be my suggestion. August, I think it falls when I'm away. I'm not positive, which last year I did it from up in New Hampshire anyway. So, but if we could have the Zoom for July and August and September, possibly move back to in person and Zoom. Josh, do you know if there's any ruling from the town on that?
Conservation meeting tomorrow night in the building.
Oh, okay. So you are meeting in person. Are you doing Zoom as well?
No.
Okay.
This is Eileen. Can I ask a question? I was trying to find this out for open space too. So is it up to the committees to decide what they want to do, or is it no? What I know the governor sent out the prop, but what has the town said? Has the town?
I haven't seen anything from the town on it. Josh, do you know anything about it?
There hasn't been a response on it just yet. But I believe that is in the works.
I asked Kim Williams, who attended our HDC meeting last week, this very question, and she indicated that they're going to be following whatever the governor says, and some of the committees will have a hybrid format. Say some members can meet in person, and if other members of that committee don't want to meet in person, then they can join it via Zoom. So that seemed to be a pretty good compromise.
Okay, I think so too.
Yeah.
I know Michael's been on vacation, so hopefully we'll see some kind of memo
Mhm.
So,
It's probably best
Okay.
that it's just a gradual, takeaway from Zoom. Instead of it having Zoom full time, it would be a hybrid model, and then it'll eventually be in person full time.
Mhm.
From a year from now, for example.
Yep. Okay.
but
Yeah, so that
I
was,
like your suggestion. We'll meet, but I think we should just continue to meet by Zoom. I may be on travel at our next one, so I can join in easily. So
Mhm.
I like your suggestion.
yep. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's more
you.
flexible since everyone's running around on vacations and what have you.
Right,
Summertime.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that. Well, July and August will definitely be Zoom. Then we can
Yeah.
talk about how we're going from there.
Great. Sounds wonderful.
Okay. Public comment? Eileen, or public?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay, sounds good. The next meeting is, I started looking this up. The next meeting is 1, 2, 3, July 28th. Okay, it's 6:30. Okay, if nothing else, this is a record for us
This is
because
a record.
it's not even
It
an
is a
hour.
record.
So that,
Way to
that's
go,
definitely.
Gina.
Carlton,
Yes?
I too have some ideas for CPC money for Ironworks.
Well, we have an eligibility form that you're more than welcome to fill out as soon as Josh gets it to us.
That's what she said. The eligibility
And-
form will be perfect for her.
Yeah,
Josh,
I just have to
another request, Josh. Once we get it, the writable PDF, is there a way that you can work within the town to get it posted onto a CPC site so that people can actually access it without us having to send it out?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
That would be another
Good.
task that I think Gina would like to assign to you.
Mhm.
Just make
Yeah,
a list.
I assigned plenty to Josh anyways. We'll just keep adding to it.
Great.
Okay, but Josh, if you can work on the eligibility form, we'd appreciate that.
Yep, I'll work on that tomorrow for you.
Okay, great. If nothing else, motion to adjourn.
Adjourn, Harry.
Second. Oh,
Okay, roll call, Josh.
Gina,
Yes.
Carlton,
yo.
Jean,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting's adjourned.
Okay,
you.
I just wanna, it didn't have to be part of the meeting. I just wanna say, Josh, how great it is to have you full-time with the town.
Glad to be here.
I think that's wonderful. Good for you and good for us.